Welcome back to UFO and UFO News for February and March 2026. So we have like 11 news today, and the first one is an introduction, and there is a lot going on in the UFO community. I just saw a lot of UFO videos streaking across the sky, and all from red orbs to green orbs and to white orbs. And these have a tail. So some say it's fallen angels, that God sent his angels to earth to help us. But there's also some negative interdimensional creatures coming here, or at least neutral, I guess. So it's really becoming a mess, and they're trying to disclose this, but there are someone working against it, which wants to keep their so-called empire and the secrets, you know. If it's because of power or consequences, or just plain up fear, I don't know, but it seems like the extraterrestrials are kind of in control of this, and they can do stuff, you know, that look like magic, control people, you know, abduct people, teleport people, you know, stun people, make people forget what they are doing and what they have been experiencing. So they really have cognitive spiritual powers that are way beyond normal physical humans. But I think there are some, you know, people in agencies which have gathered some cognitive abilities like telepathy and telekinesis, and also to use their mind to do certain things, you know. That's, I guess, natural, because we humans also have that potential and these abilities, if you just remember and train up how to use it. So that's the way we are going, you know. So, but of course there is power in this. If you have 100 people which can't do this, and you have one guy running around controlling people and manipulating people and stunning people and make people forget, you know, yeah, you have a problem, you know. And if this is a gangster too, you know, he probably is going to use these things to do, yeah, criminal stuff. So that's, you have the human in a nutshell. So people are here, you know, to experience things in the physical, and to teach things and to learn things, but also to, you know, do what they like, and then they follow their ego and their desires, and that's for all people, you know. So, but some people like evil stuff, and some people like to do good things, and there may be sometimes in between, that there is a balance there, though. So in the end, if you're going to have peace on this world, we have to find that solution which works for everybody, a balance, you know. And, you know, some people like this and some people don't like the idea. So, but we are moving towards a more positive, beautiful world, I think. But things are playing out, as I've been saying for the last year, or the last years, that things have come to the surface, and they have to see it and work on it. And you have to want to work on it. If you don't want to change, there won't be a change. So you will get stuck in what you are in. Number 2, the Book of Light.
Leaving no scar. Rain on the side of let the cosmos show. You're my universe.
Number 3, Simon Park's Abduction by Mantid Humanoid.
Being that I call Mum. Now, it clearly isn't my mother because I'm human, but in my mind, it got me to be convinced that it was my mother. If you can imagine, this alien being has adopted me, and so I refer to it as Mum.
So how often do you see your mum?
Oh, I would say probably once a month, twice a month, depending. And what will happen is that we will hold hands, and I'll say I'm ready, and then the technology that I do not understand, then you are just taken and you go up, straight up to a craft orbiting the Earth. This one.
Information to come through.
Okay, right. I think I'd like to quickly jump forward to 1971. It's one of the most complex experiences that I'd had.
Can I just ask you, just for a sort of a reference point
About
of your age?
11
About
and
11.
3/4.
Okay.
And it's when I made an agreement with them. I actually remember making an agreement with them. I'd been taken on board the craft, and the being, it's a mantid being, again, with a purple cloak, the same one that has called me, I'm your mother, about 9 foot tall. I'm hysterical. I'm screaming and crying because I'm on this spaceship where it appears to be a school taking place, where children are being taught. They're all girls. I'm the only boy there. And I'm being told to wait because someone's going to come and collect you. You're not coming to school. You're going to be collected. And then this being sort of marches towards me. I don't run away because in the back of my head I think I know this creature. And then he walks straight up to me, looks down and puts his 2 hands on my shoulders and says, would you like to be like us, to have knowledge and understanding, to know the future and see the past? But I never let him finish the sentence because I'm so interested in the past and the future. I say yes, because I really want to know about the past and I really want to know about the future. And as soon as I say that, his hand drops down off my shoulder, takes my right hand and he says, then come with me.
For James Webb News, we have 2 pictures. It seems like they have stopped to take pictures with the James Webb telescope. I don't know what's going on. But it happened after 3i Atlas went past Earth, which is more and more coming forward that it was a spaceship of some sort. Number 5, Stephen Greer, his own view on the movie Age of Disclosure.
I know that you've been very vocally critical of the film that came out, I'm losing the title now, last year, The Age of Disclosure.
Oh, Age of Deception, we call that, yes.
Right. So for anybody who has seen the film, what should they know about it if they're under the impression that everything in it is legit? What should they know?
What they should know is that if you're going to do a disinformation piece or any about disinformation intelligence, there's disinformation in the center of it, but you put it, it's like a piece of candy, and you put something very tasty and yummy on the outside. So you swallow it. and then you take the disinformation, the poison pill with the sweet candy, right? Chocolate coated disinformation. So just remember that as a operating system within the intelligence community. So much of what's in there has mirrored what Disclosure Project has said. And yet they spin it towards in two directions that are false, that are key. One, that it's a threat to the national security. Well, what's the threat? The NHI aren't the threat. The ETs, the extraterrestrial civilizations, aren't. We can prove that by the fact you and I are still breathing the free air of Earth. I mean, this planet would have been shut down a long time ago if they were that kind of a hostile threat, like the way humans are. Number two, they leave out the fact that 80% or more of all the UFOs and UAPs seen are ours, man-made. And those are the ones that have been used to stage psychological warfare operations such as abductions, mutilations, injuries, and though we can prove this. And so what it leaves out leaves this big gaping opening for this freight train of disinformation to come out saying all the things that have happened by UFOs are these bad aliens, when it's actually been a CIA operation or through the aerospace companies. And we can prove this. I mean, let's not forget a very preeminent, astrophysicist who was in the 70s and 80s, a well-known UFO researcher, Dr. Jacques Vallée, admitted in a book, and we have the reference in our movie, The Lost Century, that he had a document, and it's in the Cosmic Hoax as well, our other documentary, and these are all up on Tubi, you can see them for free. And he said and admitted he had a document, official, CIA, from 1985, 41 years ago, where the CIA admitted to using their UFOs and to engaging in the abduction of peasants, quote unquote, their word, not mine, in Argentina and Brazil for its, quote, psychological warfare value. Now, that's black and white, prima facie proof. I have actually briefed, I've debriefed nearly 1,000 top secret whistleblowers. In our archive, you can go to online, dpiarchive.com. You see the names and all the information of 115 or 20 of them, but there are another 600 and some that are blackened out that don't want to be known publicly. But so the Disclosure Project is sort of the clearinghouse and aggregator that I just have done, as a volunteer over the last 30 some years of all this intelligence from hundreds of sources. And so back in the 90s, I actually debriefed and met with men who operated the man-made UFOs out of Lockheed Skunk Works and Northrop Grumman that had assets on them, initially just disguised looking kind of deformed, small, short men, I hate to say it, and then later kind of robotic creatures, and then later biologicals that look like an alien to abduct people. And they did the same thing to do all the mutilations and other scary things. Now, why would they do that? Well, as Werner von Braun, who invented the rocket for Adolf Hitler, said, he was brought into our aerospace programs in the 40s and 50s under Operation Paperclip after World War II. Werner von Braun's right-hand spokesperson for the last 5 years of his life is on our team, Carol Rosen. And on his deathbed, he said, Carol, we're going to hoax an alien threat because we want to unite the world around a military industrial sort of global complex to fight the aliens, even though they're not hostile, as a way of controlling the world, sort of a totalitarian dystopia that this organization in the 50s decided this is what they were going to do.
Number 6, UFO history, and this time we have about G. Allan Hynek and his UFO story.
tones, light shimmering paths, drifting like stardust, soft female hymns, pure and resonant.
Number 7, Oldies for Goldies. We have 2 stories.
A gentle swell of cosmic tones, light shimmering paths, drifting like stardust, soft female hymns, pure and every whispers weave through the void, a slow celestial pulse that grows in infinity. Glowing chords expand and fading homes ascend like a ship into the stars, a final delicate shimmer fades into silence. The vastness of space breathes its final note.
Number 8, UFO videos. We have 3 videos. We could have a lot more, but I'm trying to cramp down the time on this so it doesn't get too long.
Bro, there's a black orb just hovering in the distance back there. What the fuck is that? Do you see that shit? What the fuck is that? It's moving too. It moves. Like it moves very, very slowly, but you can see it move. What the hell is that? What the fuck? Dude, that's fucking weird.
Cigar shape.
It's going that way.
We're gonna be flying up right
I knew that wasn't a plane. I was like, that shit is it's going too slow to be a plane. All right, here,
vertical direction.
here I should get it. Okay.
The horizontal direction.
That limb is going behind it. Okay, there it goes. Got it. Thank the gods. See, look. Whoa! Whoa!
Did you get the bird passing by?
No.
I can see it in your viewfinder, but where is it here?
It's going right. It's going right, and I want to say it's I can't tell it where it's above, dude. Oh, this is so cool.
I see it now.
You got it? Okay.
Yeah. Got the orb.
There's an orb? Where you got the orb? Is the orb by? It's not by it anymore, though, right?
No, that's why I don't see the other thing. Oh, it looks like you're pointing really high.
It's not, dude. That's why I was like, I don't see any wings. It just looks like a line. Shit, man. Why did I look up? That's why. It looks like something big is at the top. Now it's going behind that tree from Florida, right?
What tree is it?
This tree right here.
The green one?
The green one to the far right. The top, this one.
The tall, the kind of tall
The short one.
The short
Right above the short one. But you're gonna have to back up a bit. I might have to back up a bit too. Because now I'm getting it out of focus. It's going behind the limb.
I see it now.
Okay. It should come back, I think, around. Oh, my bad. No, oh, there it goes. Whoa. Something bright and white at the top of it, and then the rest of it is like
Yeah, it looks like a cigar-shaped craft, huh?
yeah. But it's really white at the top of it. Like, I don't...
We got a cigar shape again.
Huh?
We got a cigar shape again.
I've never gotten one of these before.
Me and Hans got one up by Hollydale Park.
Look at how bright the top is.
That was when the guy got in England the same day. Except ours was spinning, yours staying straight up.
Estamos en Jericó, en el retiro. Ya ni lo veo.
Amor, llámalos.
Los voy a llamar.
Está fija.
Sí, está fija.
Solín Salarra. Solín Salarra.
Papi, es la familia.
Familia estelar. Aquí y ahora estábamos hablando de Arturus. Y aquí estamos, Solim Salarra. Solim Salarra. Solim Salarra. Solim Salarra. El despertar de los dioses, y vienen y nos saludan. Wow. No existen las casualidades. Gracias, Jericó, por tu energía. Gracias por culminar este retiro hermoso con estas presencias. Gracias porque nunca estamos solos, siempre estamos divinamente guiados, observados por nuestra familia. Gracias por su presencia.
Number 9, Courtney Buterboughs, Mantid, Abduction and Experience. So there is a little bit of Mantid stuff here this time.
These gray beings around me, tall. I mean, they were tall, but they were your stereotypical grays. And they told me, they said, don't worry, you're here, you know, we've been with you your whole life. Like, we've been doing this your whole life. Don't worry, we're just examining you. And they had this scanner type thing, and they ran it down my body, and I could feel like my body being taken apart molecule by molecule, and then like being put back together. And this was all telepathic. And I got like this information download all of a sudden. You know, I knew that they'd been monitoring me my entire life. They were interested in my health. They had been watching my family. They were interested in my DNA. They were interested in my family. This had been going on my entire life. And just these thoughts came into my mind while they were doing this scan. And then as the scan completed, this giant praying mantis appears at my feet at the end of this thing. And I'm like, what is happening? Because I knew nothing about this. I had no idea. I'm like, why is there a big praying mantis? Well, what is happening? This is not rational. I don't even know what's happening. And that mantis being, again, so much love. And I felt that same energy in my heart chakra area that I had felt when I was with my spirit guide, when we went to that other realm. It was that same energetic signature when I saw this mantis. And this mantis was like, it's okay. We're your family. You're loved. Everything's going to be okay. And then then I was back to kind of communicating with the grays again. And there was this holographic screen that they started showing me, this really sped up film of like hieroglyphic symbols and images of like sunrises and oceans and nuclear bombs going off and natural disasters, you know, floods, earthquakes, wars. These images were just flashing past. Just, I could barely take in what was happening. And I, you know, I'm like, why are you showing me this? And they're like, and what they communicated to me at that time was, you will be healed when the time is right. There's a purpose to all of this. And then I felt myself just drop back down into my bed. Then I'm back in the bed, in my bedroom. And there's this palpable, like, static energy in the room. And then the lights start flashing on and off. And then that was the end of that experience. But the only way, you know, and then I sort of just went down the rabbit hole after that, trying to figure out what on earth happened. And that's when I started linking into other experiencer accounts and figuring out that all of this stuff is very normal, and mantises are a thing. And I mean, that experience just completely changed my life. And from that point on, I have had a conscious connection to my main spirit guide, who later revealed to me that she is in fact a mantis, that she is a giant white mantis, who wears, this sort of iridescent robe, and she's ancient and so warm and so loving. And the night that I saw those 5 beings around my bed, she was one of them, and the other 4 are also mantises. And they are, I call them the 5, but they're my spirit team, and they're all mantises, of different species, and they kind of have tried to explain to me, like, how mantises work, and that they, exist in multiple dimensions, multiple densities, that they're related to the insects on Earth, and, but over that time, I've deepened my relationship with the mantis beings. I've had lots of other mantis experiences.
Number 10, Whitley Strieber. The missing UFO, Air Force General William Neil McCasland. So this general disappeared from his home. He has, what they say is that he brought his gun and something else and just disappeared,
Here, let me read something from, we've talked about this before, something his wife said. Neil does not have any special knowledge about the ET bodies and debris from the Roswell crash stored at Wright Pat. And then, as you pointed out earlier, she says, with absolutely no sign of him, maybe the best hypothesis is that the aliens beamed him up to the mothership. It's so lighthearted. In other words, this doesn't sound like a person in the grip of the misery of losing a loved one. It sounds like somebody who might know where he is. I wonder. Might know that he absconded because he was under some kind of stress.
Yeah, again, it's so difficult to know. And again, why I wanted to emphasize the uncertainty that surrounds, how a person, any individual from one to the next might react to circumstances like this. So again, my heart goes out to Mrs. McCasland Wilkerson. I will also say that the specificity of the terminology used in her statement was not missed by me. Obviously, it was not missed by you, Whitley, and many others. I'm certainly aware of have brought that to my attention, have paid attention to it as well. But it's rare, and I can't think of another situation. And again, really just to kind of underscore the importance of all this, I cannot think of another specific circumstance in recent memory, and maybe really in most of the history of this topic, where an individual who would have held such a high rank and who would have worked specifically in the scientific division. I mean, again, overseeing some 11,000, I believe, by some counts, maybe more than that, scientists and engineers within the United States Air Force and their technological and scientific research in support of that branch of the U.S. military. I can't think of another instance where someone who held that kind of pedigree in terms of the history of, military, modern warfare, aviation technology, but also its relationship to the UAP issue has just vanished off the face of the planet. And again, we look at, the disappearance of Nancy Guthrie, an absolute tragedy. But we had ring camera footage that was accessible after a few days. Some would argue maybe it took far too long for authorities to be able to access that. I'm not in a position to judge. I will simply say, though, that they were able to obtain ring camera footage that gave us at least a look at some sort of what appears to be a suspect, obviously. In the case of Neil McCasland, you would think that we would have a blueprint for what to do and what not to do in a missing person case, and one to have occurred so quickly after the Nancy Guthrie story, which captivated the minds of Americans and people throughout the world. And yet, I know, as you do, law enforcement officials have been asking for surveillance footage, for home cameras, smartphone cameras, drone cameras, GoPros that hikers might have been using when they're in the Sandia Mountains while hiking. It's known that he was an avid hiker and outdoorsman. no evidence, nothing apart from that U.S. Air Force sweater, which they're not really certain if that sweatshirt was even related to him. No data has been provided from the public or otherwise that seems to indicate where he went. He literally just vanished from the face of the earth. I couldn't imagine a more mysterious circumstance involving an individual with the kind of background that Major General McCasland held.
And there we have to leave it, folks.
Number 11, a channeling with the Andromedan Council of Light, Alexandra. Thank you, darling. This is Alexandra from the Andromedan Council of Light. I am here to calm you down, to say that things are changing on planet Earth. There are a dispute and a conflict between positive forces and some dark forces which can't or won't lay down their vision or their desires or balance their ego and the desires to a more peaceful society. We are looking to include everybody, but it's very hard when people have their own frequency and have desires and their ego. It is changes which won't come by themselves if you want positive, because these people have to look inside and want to change those things which are not in balance with the overall frequency of Earth, which is changing and being more peaceful and more loving. And there is also cleansing going on Earth, where she cleanses herself. And there is also visitors, more visitors coming, more aliens, extraterrestrials, angels, from both the positive and some negative, which will try to fight this, but not many. The most are positive, because the age is changing, the cycle is changing from 24,000 years of not exactly negative, but dispute and contrast in life, the physical life on Earth, for learning and for no balance. So it's changing to a more positive vibration again. It is cycles to have the movement, the flow, so things doesn't get stuck, but there's always a choice, to move from one to the other. But the problem is that when it becomes too dark, too negative, it becomes destructive, and it also becomes a problem, So we are now moving Earth upwards so it can shine more and more love can come out into the society after people have looked at things and things have been cleansed. But there are many people that need to change their view, their belief systems, and also their own frequency for this to happen. But some people will just be removed from this planet because they are or can't or won't change. They won't be able to stay in the high frequencies because that is not what they are at the exact moment. You can change, of course, but that is a hard thing to do over just a short period of time. So as usual, you need some time to change yourself, to look at things and to choose if you want to change and want to do something with yourself. Most people will project their ego and their issues over on others in a varying degree. That depends on where you are in your evolution, soul evolution, you could say. Or there might be experiences which they want to continue with. But all in all, we are moving towards a more positive society after the cleansing and the awakening. And I just want to say to you, which watch this show, much love and much light to you, and the hope is still here, and we are here. And the extraterrestrials are coming more and more down to earth and showing themselves more and more for the awakening to happening. So humanity doesn't get dragged down in a negative dystopia which some have planned for this planet. It will become a utopia of God's light. Much love to you. Namaste.